Hello, I'm Perry from Rennet Rind. I'm talking to you today because you received one of these boxes in the post, either from yourself, gift to yourself, or gift to someone else, from someone else, you lucky person. And I'm going to talk to you about these 5 cheeses in your box, 5 British Artisan cheeses, your tasting notes if you don't want to listen to me for too long. You'll eat more British cheese. Keep it up, guys. We're almost there, hopefully. And your care notes are in there as well, along with a pack of biscuits as well. So I'm Perry, I'm from Rennet Rind. As I just said, I'm the head of maturing the cheeses here. You are in my maturing rooms. We use selective pressures to get cheese to its absolute maximum best. And I select the cheeses for you in the mystery cheese box to make sure they're absolutely perfect every single box. So, and they become quite special. So thanks for joining us, and hopefully, welcome to the Rennet Rind Club. So first cheese we have up is Sussex Bree, made by Allsop Walker, pasteurised milk, cow. You can see from the colour there that is clearly from the velvety rind. You can see that it's a Brie, it's a Brie style. Now, this isn't gonna go crazy. It's not gonna rock your world and be like, oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever had, perhaps. But this is a slightly younger profile. And what we like to do on the first cheese is bring them out, nice and mellow, not too many kind of crazy kind of things going on. Just kind of prime the palate, So what we do first, aroma, let's give it a smell check. So yeah, milky, slightly lactic because that youngness that's in there. You've got some grassy notes, but predominantly milky really. On the rind, a little bit more mushroomy kind of edge, but not too predominant. So we dive in straight in with flavour. Big old wedge of it there. Texture is nice, really chewy. Well, not chewy. It's kind of a mix between both actually. It's got the unctuous outside and the kind of the more elasticity kind of in the middle. You're getting those typical Brussels sprouts, kind of cabbagey, camembert kind of notes that are in there, but overriding all that is the huge lactic dominance that's in there. Nice and mellow, massively Moorish. I mean, I'm I could just carry on eating that. It's not challenging me too much. It's nice and easy. It's perfect first cheese for what we're going for. So I had a question actually on Facebook from John T. I thought this might be a good one to talk about. Is there a proper etiquette to tasting cheese, or cutting cheese rather? Yes, there is an official etiquette. So you should always go nose to rind, retain the shape. So as you can see, I'm just retaining that shape because the flavours kind of are more intense here and more creamy here, and you kind of want everyone to have the best experience, the best taste of that full cheese. But what I say is just get stuck in. There's no better homage you can pay to a cheesemaker than just getting stuck in. So that's kind of my advice, don't be too worried about it. So beautiful. Next cheese up, Spenwood. Colour is that Ivory White. That's a white sheep's milk made by Village Maid. Anne Wigmore started Village Maid's cheeses. She was like a microbiologist back in the day. That's the best person to have when you're working with cheese which is alive and has loads of bacteria and things like that and all wonderful things. So she's an absolute legend. This is usually a 9-month-old profile. We mature it on for about another 2.5 weeks. I like to do that because in my experience, we get a higher crystal kind of content. And I know everyone that I speak to loves those little crunchy crystals. So it just increases the likelihood of that and maybe drives through some complexity that's there as well. So let's give this a go. I'm looking forward to this because I had it obviously the other day like I do. Smell, savoury, nutty, light bit of acidity there. Really pleasant smell actually. Flavour, quite moist for now nearing 11-month-old cheese. Beautiful savouriness that's in there. Bitterness from the skins kind of Brazil nuts. Nutty, sweet, Moorish, nice little zing. That's a beautiful example of that cheese. Really nice. Enjoy that, because it's great. Next cheese up, Spark and Ho Red Leicester. Someone asked me a question about this. So this is unpasteurised animal rennet, made in Leicestershire. It's got a food colouring in it, which is called Anato. So I had a question from Sarah, who just messaged us on our chat on our website, is why is the Spark and Ho, what's the tradition? Why is it red? And I think it was in the 17th century, they used to skim off loads of the good stuff off milk, you know, when making cheese. And that used to go to butter and stuff like that. But then the cheese actually got quite white. And people thought that wasn't the quality, you know, kind of element. So they started putting annatto, a South American seed, into the milk to make it more yellow and orangey to kind of show quality. You know, so it's a trick of the mind. But it's just kind of brought into tradition and industry now, so... Yeah, loads of arguments between cheesemongers. Can you taste annatto? Can't you? I personally can't. Many other people will say yes, you can, but you know, I don't think you can. So this is Artisan Red Leicester. We have aged this for 22 months. This is those big rinds right here. This is what we've been working on, brushing. So we get some Artisan in, we taste test it. I'm looking for acidity. Acidity, in my experience, tends to provide longevity of life in affinage. There's loads of variables that go into that, but the more acidic the cheese, the more that might become something else. That's kind of, it's more complicated than that, but that's a really quick way of looking at it. So this was in last month's box, but I'll be honest, I'm loving it so much that I just couldn't refuse it again. It's perfect for this. So smell, you've got that mustiness that's in there. Smells of these rooms, nice, damp. Slight bit of acidity there, kind of cheddar-y kind of ideals that are coming through flavour. Good chewy texture. Chewiness, oxygen over the tongue, rushes up the nose, unlock those 50,000 scents that are in there, which is brilliant. Bit of a savoury burn, huge fruity pineapple middle, like that's so weird. It wasn't like that when I taste tested these on Monday. Yeah, pineapple and fruity aroma. Nutty finish, savoury, nutty savoury finish. That's so good. That's why I can't refuse it. I've got to put it in again. You know, it's beautiful. So, Artisan Red Leicester. Next cheese up, Baronette, which is one of our favourite cheeses. 1 second. Yeah, one of our favourite cheeses, which is made by Juliana, Hungarian woman, moved over to USA. Looks at like she used to make like 21 goat cheeses over there. Luckily, she came to the UK. She's an absolutely beautiful human being. And this is a wash rind cheese. I liken it to a French Reblochon. So tarty flat away if you want to, because this works really well. We can see it's washed because it's got that peachy rind. That's a water brine solution, water and salt. She washes this and it creates this brevy and loads of different bacteria, B. linens, and that is brevy, but anyway, in the rind, and creates, and that kind of gets chemicals going on the outside, so you get a nice pungent cheese. But I kind of like this one because it's not too overly complex. I mean, the texture is really nice. It's a little bit cold in here today. The temperature has dropped a little bit, which is concerning. I have to look out for that. But I've just gone straight in. I shouldn't have done that. Smell, it smells like sweaty socks, right? That's it. Taste, that chewiness, but as this comes up to room temperature, because it is a bit cold in here, that will begin to ooze and it will open the flavours out a lot more. It's got this really nice peanutty-esque to it near the rind, which I'm absolutely loving, because it's kind of like a high level, kind of like bitterness scenario that's there, not so much sweet, a huge dairy background and a nice bit of complexity. What I like about this Baronette in this stage is that it's got the coating for the mouth, which is quite strong, which can eradicate the memory of all the last cheeses that we've had. Spark and Hoe come in there pretty strong, but the Baronette, I mean, once you get it around your full palate, it erases all memory of the previous cheeses we've had before, and they've got huge amounts of character, you know, the last couple of cheeses. Final cheese we have, Stilton, Crockwell Bishop. I love these guys at the moment. I seem to bang on about it all the time, but for me they're just knocking Stilton out of the park, and I'm just literally loving the profiles they have. And I find it really difficult to not put it in a box when they taste as good as it is. You know, and in comparison and complementing everything else, we're missing biscuity, you know, kind of, well, I won't give the game away. I had a question from Peter M. from, I don't know, one of our platforms, and he was asking, is the blue veining in the cheese just mould? Yeah, kind of. So you essentially get your milk, and you put in starter cultures, that can be powder or liquid form, That is Penicillin, sorry. So I got interrupted and, you know, it's a working room, right? Things go on. So I was talking about Peter Moore, blue veining and cheese. So yeah, essentially you get your milk, starter culture in, that's Penicillin rock filter, a derivative of it. That gets the bacteria moving in the milk. And then when the cheese is formed, if you have a look along the rind of your cheese that's there, what you'll see is like these little holes. These ions come in, oxygen rushes in, and that activates the blue, and that's how you get your veining. So, kind of, it's complex in that, but yeah, essentially it's that, but just more controlled, you know. I always say cheese is just controlled rotting. That sounds terrible. Sorry to put you off your cheese, but, you know, we're all enthusiasts, and I'm sure you'll be fine. So yeah, Crockwell Bishop, Nottinghamshire, I'm just loving their cheese like for ages, and I like for the last year I think they're doing a spectacular job. And when I was putting this board together, I kind of felt it like we needed something familiar and something to sort of ground us a little bit at the end, so we kind of know where roughly everything is. So we're getting that, you know, like I was saying, that biscuity hoppiness that's kind of in there, traditional with Stiltons. There's a slight bit of cream. There's an ever slight spicy note at the end. I've got quite a lot of blue that's in there. The veining on the cheese is beautiful because it's, you know, consistent and even. I just love it. I just love it. Now, I highly would advise getting that up to room temperature as well, because it's such a short, sharp experience that I'm having with that at the moment. Obviously, I've explained that the room's a bit cold, but once that opens out, that allows the fat to relax and becomes a bit more savouriness. At the moment, I'm getting a high amount of bitterness that's in there, that's coming from the cheese, but it's incredibly light. It's got a nice texture and finish to it as well, which is beautiful. I love blue cheeses. So this is my go-to, really, you know. I do love this style. It's got a nice perfumey edge to it, which is really good. And it's kind of finishing, oh there we go, yeah. Now a good tip is that if you do get stuff out of like the fridge and it's too cold to devour, then just run your fingers through it, you know, just heat it up with your room, your hand temperature, and that kind of opens it out a little bit more. Delicious! So those are your 5 cheeses. Thank you so much again for supporting us. I mean, it's awesome. Each day goes by, we get closer to freedom, and each day that goes by, I end up meeting more of you. You know, you keep on calling me, having these absolutely wonderful chats, and sending me questions to put in my video. That's really cool. I think it's a really good feature of these. And we all can learn a little bit more about cheese. So enjoy your boxes, and yeah, have a great couple of days. Bye.